I'm going to be rebuilding the Buffalo Bills, but with the new addition of Joey Bosa. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys like and or subscribe. Let's see if we can get this video to 100 likes. I would appreciate that. Not going to be wasting any time moving into the video. I already know, yes, the Bills don't technically need a rebuild. They're a Super Bowl contending team. But anyways, Josh Allen here, 99 overall superstar X Factor in Madden. You got James Cook, who typically isn't really good in simulation, but in real life, you like him a lot. Khalil Shakir really popped off this year. You got Keon Coleman, Josh Palmer, one of the new signings. Also, if you do want my rosters, these are my rosters that I made for PlayStation 5 exclusively. Go to the link in the top of the description on how to get these rosters. You got Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox. I might drop Dawson Knox because his contract is pretty hefty. I mean, there's 2 years left on it, but it's like, do I really want to pay $14 million and $17 million the next year after that for a backup tight end who's a 77 overall? Probably not. The O-line here, honestly, kind of mid on paper here. Spencer Brown, Deion Dawkins are the highlights, and that's kind of about it. Haven't seen too much from O'Cyrus Torrence yet as a second-year player in the league now, or is this year one? I think it's year 2 for him. But Joey Bosa, I thought this was a solid signing for the Bills. I knew they weren't going to get Myles Garrett because it would be way too expensive, but Joey Bosa, he's just fallen off in these past couple of years due to his injury history. I think he's a good player when he's on the field. Obviously, this 2024 year is just in simulation. That doesn't actually count, but these are the real stats from 2023 and below. He was good for the Chargers whenever he was on the field, but that was the problem. He couldn't stay on the field. He was one of the highest paid players in NFL history. I think at the time of him getting his contract, he was the highest paid non-QB in NFL history whenever he's got his contract. I think back in 2020 or even 2019. But either way, he was taking up way too much cap. I think he can be a good player. Getting him on a one-year signing, I think, was a good move for the Bills because, of course, he is 30 years old. But we're going to see how he plays here for the Buffalo Bills. Any other additional signings? They re-signed Terrell Bernard, I believe, and then anyone else. They lost Amari Cooper, Kaiir Elam. I'm going to move on from, and yeah, we should be good from there. But apart from that, it is now time to move into free agency. And before I said they lost Kaiir Elam, but they didn't lose him. He's just on his final year. I didn't accept his option. This is what free agency looks like in Madden simulation. I have Amari Cooper here. I'm not going to touch free agency because I don't want to sign someone and they get signed in real life. Don't want to mix anything up, but I will be moving into the draft with realistic draft rosters. In the first round for the Bills, I'm going to be picking up defensive back Maxwell Hairston out of Kentucky here. Normal development, but he has 90 speed, 91 acceleration. I think they need to remove Kaiir Elam from the roster. He just wasn't good. He was a first-round pick for them. So we're going to try and pick up a new corner for them. And then also Teron Johnson is aging, so I think this is a solid pick. And then in the second round, I'm picking up left guard Logan Parr out of SMU. 6'5", 315, normal development. Again, 85 strength. I want to beef up my offensive line a little bit more here. And the Bills don't have a third-round pick, but they do have a fourth-round pick. So with my fourth-round pick, I'm going to be picking up middle linebacker Jeffrey Bassa out of Oregon. 6'2", 235, normal development again. It doesn't seem like a bad player at all. A-man coverage, zone coverage, play rack. I'm just not doing that well in this draft, but it definitely isn't horrible. Now, this is the team after the draft here. I really didn't have that good of a draft. Need to generate the best lineup there. Didn't have that good of a draft. Logan Parr is terrible, actually. That was not a good pick. Keon Coleman, I'm going to make the 2. Josh Palmer is going to be the 3. Curtis Samuel, I don't even really want him on my team, but sure, I guess he can be here. Dawson Knox, honestly, I know some people are going to get mad at me. It's like, oh, there's 2 tight end sets, yada, yada, yada. I don't really care. I'm not going to pay a second-string tight end $14 million a year. I'm going to trade him away. Do the Chargers want him? We get Bosa. They get Dawson Knox. That seems pretty fair to me. Realistically, he's 77 overall. He's like 29 years old, something like that. He's a big cap hit. I don't see him getting traded for more than this right here, so I'm going to trade him away for a 4th and a 6th, and that will be accepted by the Chargers. I don't want his cap hit. He's a second-string tight end. He's just not going to be useful to me in Madden simulation, and I know I could get more value for him, but I want to make this rebuild as realistic as I possibly can. Obviously, I'm going to say that, and then somebody's going to cherry pick something that they don't like. But anyways, this is what we got going on for the team. Bosa on the outside, Gregory Rousseau. Isn't he supposed to have superstar development? I thought he was, but I guess it is what it is. I won't complain about that. Going to move Maxwell Hairston up. He's a 74 overall, but only normal development. Kaiir, even though he's young and he has star development in Madden, in real life, he's just not good. And again, I want to keep it kind of realistic here, as I'm probably just not going to re-sign him because I just don't like him in real life. I don't think any Bills fans really liked him in real life. Definitely not worth a first-round pick. I could move Keon Coleman into the slot, but I know it's broken if you have them in the slot and at wide receiver 1, but that's kind of what Khalil Shakir plays in real life. So I'm going to keep that as it is, and then I'm going to move James Cook as the starting back all around. Everything else looks pretty good here. Kaiir, I do not want in the slot. Let's put Hairston there. And apart from that, year number 1 with the team. Let's move into midseason mark. 4-2 at the midseason mark here, coming off a bye and a win to the Ravens here. 4th best offense in the NFL, 14th in passing game, 15th in rushing game, 11th in defensive points per game, 5th in passing defense, 7th in rushing defense. That's great to see. Scouting national focus, I'm going to do depth at defensive tackle. I just like having that, maybe interior offensive line as well. For the players ready to negotiate, $68 million here. Khalil Shakir, he doesn't want any state income tax. Yeah, bad place to live in New York there. And he wants to be in a warm weather state, and he wants to be historic champions. We're just going to have to do a big payday for this guy, and he's going to re-sign on that. And then Greg Rousseau, I do want him back long-term here. $30 million a year, 4-year contract. That is pretty hefty, but he's going to re-sign. Christian Benford, young star development, absolutely want you back. A lot of these guys don't want to stay either, which really sucks. James Cook doesn't really want to be here either, and I don't quite have the cap room for him. Terrell Bernard, I thought he got a contract in real life, so I may have to manually change that myself. And then everyone else here, I'm just not interested in. I'll accept Dalton Kincaid's option. I want James Cook back, but if I don't have the money, then I don't have the money. We'll see. Terrell Bernard here, I'm going to see if he got a contract in real life. Let me look it up real quick. Yeah, he did get an extension all the way to 2029. He got a 4-year contract for $12.5 million per year, so I'm going to manually force that in, and then we might lose James Cook because of it, but I kind of want to keep it realistic. As I said before, he got an extension, so I want to make sure that it actually sticks with the rebuild. Okay, so I fixed his contract. Now we're in negative 5.1 cap room for 2026, so hopefully somebody retires, not Joey Bosa. But James Cook here, we probably won't be able to re-sign him, which I could see happening in real life. Kyer Elam, I don't even want back. AJ Epineza is just going to walk. All these other guys are going to walk as well. But for now, we're not going to worry about that. Let's just move into the playoffs. In the playoffs, we finished 13-4 back-to-back years, coming off a loss to the Steelers here as we get a 2 seed as the Colts finish 13-4 and steal the 1 seed. That's surprising. Green's in every ranks except for defensive passing game, but 3rd in offense, 2nd in defense. You love to see it. Stats and awards, Josh Allen, top 2 quarterback, #1 quarterback last year, and he will finish as the runner-up for league MVP. Jalen Hurts wins the league MVP here. 2nd best offense in the NFL here, and defensively will be 4th. Josh Allen, another amazing year, 4,300 yards, 40 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 122 pass rating, only got sacked 27 times. Really good year for the offensive line as well. James Cook, only 3.7 per carry. Like, this is my problem with James Cook. Like, he's almost a 90 overall, and he's only giving me 3.7 averages. 4.0 should be at least the base for an 85 overall running back. He's like 90 overall with the boost. I mean, no fumbles, 11 touchdowns is nice, 1,000 yards, sure, but almost 300 attempts and 3.7 per carry. That's really not something that's that special. And then Josh Allen here, 500 yards, 7 touchdowns as well in the running game. Khalil Shakir, 103 receptions, 1,600 yards, 19 touchdowns. That's what happens when you put someone in the starting position in the slot. It's really cheesy, but that's what he plays in real life, so I'm going to keep him there. He's going to get X Factor. Dalton Kincaid, 900 yards, 4 touchdowns. Keon Coleman, 800 yards, 8 touchdowns. Josh Palmer, 600 yards, 7 touchdowns. Blocking wise here, 6 sacks allowed for Deion Dawkins, Spencer Brown, 5 for Osiris Torrance, 4 for David Edwards, 2 for Connor McGovern. I don't need a new offensive line. This was a really good job for my offensive line. Matt Milano here, 113 tackles for a loss, 13 for Greg Rousseau, 12 for Joey Bosa, 11 for Matt Milano, 10 for Ed Oliver, sacks, 17 for Greg Rousseau, 12.5 for Joey Bosa. He's making a comeback now that he's fully healthy here. 7 for Ed Oliver, 3.5 for Matt Milano and Daquan Jones. Interceptions, 3 for Maxwell Harrison. He had 5 tackles for a loss, 70 tackles, 2 pass deflections. He had 1 forced fumble as well. That's a really good rookie year for Maxwell Harrison. 2 interceptions for Matt Milano, Terrell Bernard, and Christian Benford. Deflections on the team, 10 for Matt Milano, 6 for Christian Benford, 4 for Terrell Bernard and Taylor Rapp, and then safeties on the team, 0 defensive touchdowns is 0. Can we beat the Houston Texans to move on to the divisional round here? And the answer is yes, crushing them 34-7 here to face the 9-8 Joey Bosa Buffalo Bills versus his former team, the Los Angeles Chargers. They're 9-8. We're 3 overalls higher than them. Can we beat them to go back to the conference championship here? And the answer is yes. 31-28 here to face the 13-4 Indianapolis Colts, who have the 1 seed here. So let's see if we can beat them to move on to the Super Bowl. Here we are against the Colts. They're going to open up with nothing. We did nothing, and then they're going to start with 7-0. We're going to make it a 7-7 game against the Colts. No way the Colts are this good in simulation with Anthony Richardson. 14-14 game, 21-14 game, 24-14 game against the Colts. Defense was holding strong there. 27-21. Just don't choke. Hold the ball, please, and they will. 27-21 as your Buffalo Bills will be moving on to the Super Bowl in year number 1. Here we are on the Super Bowl here to face the 12-5 Green Bay Packers. But for the team upgrades, no surprise, Khalil Shakir gets X Factor, Dalton Kincaid gets Superstar Development, no other upgrades for the team. Defensively here, Joey Bosa doesn't get an upgrade. Greg Rousseau just had 17 sacks on a season. I'm going to force his development trait. I don't care if it's considered cheating. 17 sacks in a season is an amazing year. Deserves X Factor, but I'm just going to settle for Superstar. And for the rest of the defense, Michael Hocht here, I forgot. I don't know how you pronounce that name. Probably got butchered there. But either way, he came from the Rams. They signed him in free agency. He gets star development. And no other upgrades. Well, actually, Maxwell Hairston gets star development. So even though he only started with normal development, he already seems to be a good fit to replacing Kaiir Elam. But let's see if we can get Joey Bosa and the Buffalo Bills their very first Super Bowl ring in year one of this rebuild. Here we are against the Green Bay Packers. They're going to open up with 7, and we're going to respond with 7. Nice start for both teams here. 14-7 game. Defense needs to step up a little bit. 14-14, 14-17 at halftime. We open up half with nothing. They're going to make it 23, now 23-21 here against the Packers here. Somebody has to do something. Just drive down the field, and we're not going to be able to do it, as we are now 0-5 in Super Bowls in year number 1 of this rebuild. I mean, not 0-5, and of course in the rebuild, but 0-5 in real life for the Super Bowl. 0-4 in real life, plus 0-5 for now. You guys know what I mean. Josh Allen still had a really good game overall. Threw 1 pick, but 133 pass rating. What more do you really want him to do there other than not throw that pick? And then Gregory Rousseau had a sack. Joey Bosa had 7 total tackles, a tackle for a loss, and a half a sack. But unfortunate, that's how we're going to start year 1, but there's more years to come, of course. And Jordan Love wins the Super Bowl MVP. Jalen Hurts wins the league MVP, and there are no awards here for the Bills. In the AFC East, Thomas Morstead and Daquan Jones both retire. And Bosa still has 1 year remaining on his contract, so I think the AI accidentally gave him a 2-year contract whenever I was trying to give him a 1-year contract. Whenever I was making these rosters, you can't really control the contracts. You just sign them to the team, then the AI just gives them a temporary contract. But anyways, we have $18 million to spend, so it's really not that big of a deal anyways. James Cook, I'm probably not going to re-sign, because if we're being realistic here, that $18 million would go to Joey Bosa. He just had 18.5 sacks, so that would go to his contract for sure, and I wouldn't be able to really sign anyone else. I mean, I'll tag and trade James Cook, because that would seem like the realistic move since I can do it, and then all these other guys don't really want. Yeah, and then James Cook, he really didn't even do that well for an 89 overall. Can I just give him 1 year and then just dump his contract to another team? I'll just give him 11.7 for 1 season, and then yeah, I'm just going to dump him to another team, because that would be the realistic thing to do here, since of course Joey Bosa was only supposed to be on a 1-year contract. But let's move into free agency so I can trade away his contract. The Broncos need a running back now that Javonte Williams is gone, so I'm trading James Cook to the Broncos for a 2nd round pick. He's almost a 90 overall running back. Even though he's not amazing in simulation, he's definitely not bad. He's young, he has star development, and of course I can't afford him if we're sticking to the realistic part of the rebuild, which means I can't even afford free agency. So let's skip into the draft. In the draft, we have pick number 31 here. The Browns get the number 1 overall pick again. They're going to pick up QB Nick Hilton here. Interesting guy, but I'm going to make my selection here, and what do I even really want? Maybe the depth at defensive tackle is what I wanted. I mean, I could get a new strong safety, because maybe Taylor Rapp isn't going to be that guy for long. My offensive line is honestly really good, and I'm going to run with our new running back. Ray Davis is the new running back. I'm cool with all of our receivers. The offensive line did really good. I'm fine with everything on offense. Defensively, I need depth at this defensive tackle, but I like picking those guys in the later rounds. Taylor Rapp's an 86 overall with the boost. Cole Bishop is pretty young. Maybe another DB to replace Teron Johnson long term. Taylor Rapp, he's not bad. He's not great. We'll see what's available. Strong safety on the board. Max Brackens here out of Tennessee, 6'2", 221. Great speed, great strength, decent acceleration. B's across the board. He really doesn't look that bad. I really don't need to replace Taylor Rapp, but at the same time, I wouldn't mind having another one for later. This guy out of Florida State, he's 5'9", doesn't seem as good as the other guy. And then finally, this guy, Dwayne Anderson here out of LSU, 6'1", 204, good, and he doesn't look as good as the other guys. So I'm going to choose Max Brackens, even though he won't be a starter immediately. He's going to be a backup for Taylor Rapp for now, but I do like him, and depth safety does matter in simulation. I ranked 32 in the class, got him at 31. Hidden development out of Tennessee. He kind of slid down the board there. He was ranked as a mid-first round guy. Got him in the late first round. I think that's good value. And by ranked as a mid-first round, I mean his talent was a late first round talent, but he had a mid-first round grade there. Ooh, this guy, Steven Overton here. He looks pretty good. 6'1", 235 out of Washington here. Elite speed, good acceleration, great strength. This is my 2nd round pick that I'm using that I traded traded away for James Cook for. So Stephen Overton's going to be the pick here. Ranked 24, got him at 43, hidden development. He's going to be depth for now, but he looks pretty good. Then in the late second round here, want a defensive tackle. This guy doesn't seem too bad. Clifton McRae out of Alabama, 6'2", 235 here. Great strength. Really all I need to know, a tackle. Yeah, as soon as I see the great strength, I know he's going to be good. Ranked 71, got him at 63, hidden development, 93 strength here, 74 acceleration. Like to see that. And then I needed a new center because my center walked to free agency, and the center class and the guard class isn't really good, so I can't convert someone. But I did see this guy, Evan Gray, out of Alabama, the teammate of the, no, out of Georgia. I thought he was out of Alabama, but he doesn't seem that athletically gifted, but he has A, awareness, B, lead block, A, pass block. I'm going to take a chance on him in the late second round, third round, I mean. Either way, he's terrible. I shouldn't have taken that chance at all. I know he was projected to be a post UDFA. I just saw the A awareness and thought he would be a lot better. Complete miss by me. And then finally, I think I'm going to try and double down here on defensive tackle if there's anyone good here. All these skills look pretty bad, so never mind. In the fourth round, picking up middle linebacker Lewis Kyle here, ranked 119, got him at 121. Hidden development out of Navy here. Seems pretty good. Like to see that. He will be depth as well. Have a lot of depth at the linebacker position now. But other than that, I'm going to skip to the end of the draft. After the draft, Max Brackens here, 74 overall, 74 for Stephen Overton, 72 for my defensive tackle. The center is a 65. The middle linebacker was a 68, but hidden development. Stopped drafting after that. Pretty solid draft this tight end. Evan Stafford here. Hidden development out of Louisville, blocking tight end. Good pick by the AI. Now, this is the team after the draft. The second string tight end will also be playing fullback there. Offense seems pretty good. Don't really have... Oh, shit. I actually lost the left guard and the center. Sorry for cussing there. That just slipped out. But either way, everything else looks pretty good here. Defensively, everything else. Move up McRae. Overton's going to be up there. Kyle, let's move up one more position. Brackens is going to be a backup. The team's already a Super Bowl caliber team, but we're going to see how we do here. Joey BOSA is slightly regressing, so we may need to prepare for that in the future. But as of right now, we are definitely in Super Bowl contention. Let's move in to the midseason mark. 4-2 once again at the midseason mark. Offense is doing awful, and that is something that needs to change immediately. The defense is carrying us right now, so I'm going to change this up here. I'm going to do an air raid offense with the Kansas City defense. It's pretty broken for passing schemes. I mean, I have a 99 overall quarterback, so I might as well use him. So we're just going to roll with this and see what we have from that. Scouting national focus here. I'm going to do interior offensive line because I need it for my guards and my center. For the players ready to negotiate, Joshua Palmer here. How much money does he want? I don't know how much he got in real life, but I don't know if I want to give him $10 million a year. We're going to see how he plays. Taylor Rapp, I'm probably not interested in because he's turning 29. I don't mind him right now, but he's turning 29. He doesn't want to be here. There's no reason to keep signing him. Joey BOSA, depends how you play and you regress. Same thing with Matt Milano. Cyrus Torrance, depends how you play. Dorian Williams, you're a second string right now, so probably not. Curtis Samuel, I don't want, but we're going to wait on that. But Joshua Palmer, depends how you play. Taylor Rapp, I already low-key have his replacement, so we're gonna just deal with that in the offseason. For now, let's move into the playoffs. Here we are in the playoffs, 12-5, as we have a first-round bye this time. Our offensive points per game is ranked 23rd, but our offense did overall improve. Our defensive points per game is ranked number 1 in the NFL, so the best defense is a good offense. Gregory Rousseau, 22 sacks, 12 tackles for a loss, leading the league, is insane. Josh Allen here, yikes, 19th pass rating, but 16th offense, 3rd best defense. Still pretty good season, but 14 interceptions is too many. 100 pass rating for a 99 overall quarterback. I expect more. Got sacked 28 times. Offensive line still did pretty good there, 4,000 yards. Then Ray Davis here, 3.8 per carry, 8 touchdowns. He had less attempts than James Cook, but he's giving us just about the same production, just 3 less touchdowns and 1 fumble there. So I really don't mind having him rather than paying James Cook here. As Khalil Shakir, 1,000 yards, 13 touchdowns. Dalton Kincaid, 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns. Joshua Palmer, 800 yards, 5 touchdowns. I think I could re-sign him for that. Keon Coleman, 700 yards, 6 touchdowns. But yeah, for the sacks allowed, Dion Dawkins allows 9, 8 for Spencer Brown, 7 for the center, and then 2 for Logan Parr, who really didn't do bad. I'm questionable about replacing him now. So he seemed like a bad pickup before, but only 2 sacks allowed out of 1,100 snaps. Kind of want to keep him, but I do want to replace the center. Terrell Bernard, 97 tackles, tackles for a loss, 14 for Ed Oliver, 12 for Gregory Rousseau, 8 for Dwayne Carter here. Sacks, 22.5 for Greg Rousseau. That's easily X Factor. Joey BOSA with 12.5. Still having a good season, just getting outshadowed here, well, being shadowed out by Greg Rousseau, and then 7.5 sacks for Ed Oliver, interceptions 3 for Christian Benford and Taylor Rapp, deflections on the team 8 for Christian Benford, 7 for Teron Johnson, 6 for Terrell Bernard, and then safeties on the team, 0 defensive touchdowns is 1 for Cole Bishop. And we're going to be playing the 10-7 Pittsburgh Steelers here in the divisional round to see if we can go back to another conference championship here, 3 in a row, beating them 31-17 here to face the Steelers' divisional rivals, the Cincinnati Bengals. They're an 87 overall team. We're an 89 overall team, of course, with morale boost, but let's see if we can beat them to go back-to-back Super Bowls. Here we are against the Bengals. They're going to open up with 3. We're going to respond with nothing there, so not a good start for my team, but still 10-0. Offense, please wake up and do something. Defense isn't doing horrible, but it's 10-10 now. Offense finally moving just a little bit here. Defense only allowing 13 points, 17-13, 20-17 here. We got key moments, end game drive, just holding the ball there, 20-24. Of course, it is the final play, 5 seconds left. They're on the 17. They need a touchdown. I will just hop in just to this play because I'm interested to see how it goes. Spread out the team, pass commit the team, and what are they going to do? Of course, it's going to be play action. Got Jamar Chase over the middle, and that's going to be a pick. Okay, it's typical Joe Burrow fashion here. No, I'm just kidding. It's not typical Joe Burrow fashion, but either way, we will be going back to the Super Bowl there. Just only played one play, didn't even have to do anything. 24-20, as again, we will be going back-to-back Super Bowls here if the game will ever load in my favor. Thank you. And here we are in the Super Bowl, here to face the 10-7 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm sure Baker Mayfield is balling out. Just want to check the QB status though. Yep, it is Baker Mayfield. He's a 91 overall superstar development with morale boost. For the stats and awards, offensively, Dalton Kincaid goes to superstar X Factor. Tempted to give Logan Parr star development because he only allowed 2 sacks in his very first start. That was good, but I'm really upset how many interceptions Josh Allen throws at being a 99 overall. He also had the 19th pass rating in the league at a 99 overall QB, but I guess it is what it is. Still don't know Overton's or McCray's development. You're telling me Gregory Rousseau leads the NFL in sacks and 22.5 sacks, and he doesn't get superstar X Factor? What are you smoking, EA? He literally, oh my gosh, come on, dude. He had 22.5 sacks, and that's not good enough for X Factor. That's ridiculous. Forced it myself. Everyone else looks the same. Apart from that, let's move in to the game here against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Here we are against the Buccaneers. They're going to start out with nothing. We're going to start out with 7. Good start for the team. They're going to respond with 7 there, and we're going to make it a 10-7 game. Defense needs to be the #1 defense in the league today, as it is 13-10 against the Buccaneers. Are we in the Superdome? I think we are. No, we're in the Atlanta Falcons Stadium. Either way, 23-23 game in overtime, 30-23. They're driving down the field, 30-30. We can do key moments here. I will hop in if we need it. I'll do a 3rd down if we have it, and we do have it. 3rd and 2. Does the next point win, or do we just keep going through overtime? It's the Super Bowl, but I think next point does win here, as it leads to a 4th and 2. I just couldn't hit the hole. It just sucked me into a tackle. More options here. I'm definitely going to play this. And we have superstar kicker Tyler Bass, so even though they tried to ice us, it didn't work, and Tyler Bass actually makes a field goal. Who would have thought? And that will be the game-sealing field goal, 33-30 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, as Joey BOSA and your Buffalo Bills win their first ever Super Bowl in NFL history. So this will be a successful rebuild, but we still have 2 more years to go. Let's see if Joey BOSA wants to continue or retire with a Super Bowl ring. And the 6th time is the charm here for the Buffalo Bills. Khalil Shakir wins the Super Bowl MVP. Jordan Love wins the league MVP. Greg Rousseau wins the defensive player of the year, and the AI still didn't give him X Factor. 22.5 sacks, led the league, defensive player of the year, and the AI is like, nah, you're not good enough for X Factor. That's so stupid. Anyways, I gave it to him, so it doesn't really matter. In the AFC East, Russell Wilson retires on the Jets, Tyrann Mathieu on the Dolphins, and Teron Armstead on the Dolphins all retire. For the players ready to negotiate, I actually like Josh Palmer. I want to give him an extensive contract. Let's just do 3 years here, $13 million a year. He resigns on that. Taylor Rapp, honestly, I'm going to let go. He wasn't that bad. I'll do a 1-year deal if he wants that with extra money, $10 million for 1 year. He says no to that. How much does it take to tag him? I'm not paying him $18 million. Joey Bosa, I want back, 2-year contract, $24 million a year, and he resigns. Matt Milano is down to a 76 overall, and I already have so much depth at linebacker that I feel like I just don't need him anymore. I mean, I know he's an X factor, and I know he's a great veteran on the team, but he's a 76 overall. It's not really useful. Osiris Torrance, how many sacks did he allow this year? He allowed only 1 sack? I didn't even see that. He deserves star development for that, but I'm not going to force it now that I'm too late into it. But yeah, he's definitely getting a re-signing after allowing only 1 sack. He re-signs on the team. $4.8 million left. Dorian Williams, I don't need you. I don't need any of these guys. 4.8 million. Don't have enough money for free agency. I'm not really rebuilding the team. I'm just trying to retain it the best I can. Let's move into the draft. So going into the draft, I need a new center for sure. Logan Parr really didn't do bad. He only allowed 2 sacks. I'm going to keep him on the team for sure. Don't really plan on replacing him unless there's a stud on the board. Defensively, I'm cool on linebacker right now. Even have Jeffrey BOSA as a depth guy. I would like a 3rd defensive tackle, even though Carter doesn't seem that bad. Having depth at defensive line does matter for simulation. And then I think maybe a 3rd DB because Teron Johnson's down to an 82 overall without the boost. But I mean, we have nice depth there. It's not that crazy, but we'll see what we have on the board. Like the team I have. Definitely need a new center though. In the first round, you have the Raiders with the #1 overall pick. They're going to pick up Tevin White, a wide receiver. I'm sure he runs really fast and he's going to go really fast in Corvettes and get himself in prison. But anyways, for the team draft, do I want defensive tackle in the very first round just as a depth player? Probably not. There's a corner on the board. Eric Baker's out of South Carolina, 5'10", 190, good speed, elite acceleration, runs a 4.43 in his college pro day and at the combine. Is there anyone better than him? And from the looks of it, no, there is nobody better than him. He's the top guy available, most balanced guy, Eric Baker out of South Carolina here. So I think I'm going to make him the pick, even though I don't necessarily need corner. I just need a good team, which is what we already have. We're already a Super Bowl winning team, but he's ranked 16, got him at 32 here, normal development. It's fine with me. He's just going to be a depth piece for now. And for the center here in the late 2nd round, there's a dude with a bunch of A's across the board. His talent is hidden, 80% scouted here. He doesn't look that crazy, but I need a center. He's the top guy available. We're just going to take him. Ranked 27, got him at 64, hidden development out of Stanford, 6'1", 300 pounds, 86 strength, A's and B's across the board. He looks good. And then at the end of the 3rd round, probably going to stop drafting here because, yeah, the board is looking pretty thin now. This guy has A finesse moves, so it's worth looking at him. Rashawn Chancellor at Clemson, 6'3", 305, good strength, great acceleration. Don't think he's going to be good, but I'm going to take him anyways because why not? Ranked 298, got him at 96. That's exactly why I shouldn't take him, but I knew he wasn't going to be that good. Just didn't think he was going to be that bad. Anyways, let's move into the end of the draft. After the draft, Eric Baker is a 75 overall, 74 for Dean Carter, the center, 64 for that defensive tackle. Stop drafting after that. The AI got a 70 overall receiver, Marco Matthews out of Harvard. Pretty good value there. He's big brain. This is the team after the draft. Carter's up to a 77 overall with the boost. Everything on the team and the offense looks fine. Hopefully that they don't do as bad as they did last year, but either way, we want a ring, so that's what matters. And then everything else here looks pretty good. Let's move Baker up to the 4 so that way he gets a little bit more XP. Everything else looks pretty good. And again, it's not really much of a rebuild. It's more of a retaining the team type of deal. And let's move Baker up 1 more. And yeah, everything looks pretty good here. Like the team we have. Let's move McCray up. And that should be it. 89 overall team right now. A lot of people are boosted. But apart from that, let's move into the midseason mark for year number 3 and see if we can go back-to-back Super Bowl wins. 6-1, even better than last year here. 9th best passing offense in the NFL, 14th in points per game, though. #1 defense in points per game, 25th in passing game after drafting a new corner, which is a bit upsetting. Nobody's in top 3 for anything there, but that's fine. Scouting national focus, I really don't need anything, but I'm just going to keep doing defensive tackle. The team's already so good. And for the players ready to negotiate, Dalton Kincaid, he's going to want a big payday. He doesn't like the scheme fit. I don't care. We're winning Super Bowls with it, so I'm not going to do that. He wants even more money. I'm not doing that. Keon Coleman, he wants to be in Louisiana. He wants to, he doesn't want to state income tax. Completely understandable. I'm going to overpay for him. He's going to resign. It's only $14 million a year there. That's really not that bad. Cole Bishop has interest actually staying here. Thank God. $10 million a year. He resigns on a 5-year contract. He's young, has star development. Ray Davis, he's about to start regression. I don't care. He's been solid for us. Don't really have to pay him too much either. Ed Oliver needs a new contract, and I will give him one. 2 years, $25 million. He's going to resign back on the team. Teron Johnson, I already found your replacement. He's going to turn 32, drop below an 80 overall. Don't really like anyone else here. Don't really need anyone else here. Deion Dawkins actually might change my mind depending on how he plays in a contract year for him. And then Matthew Woodall, punter with star development, 80 overall punter. He looks like a rookie too. Why not just have him? Sure, I guess we signed him. That's a good punter sign. Why not? And then Dalton Kincaid here. This our cap room includes his contract that I offered him, so we'll deal with that in the offseason. Don't need that center. Don't need that defensive tackle. Teron Johnson probably don't need either. But for now, let's worry about that in the offseason and just move into the playoffs. 14-3, but no first-round bye as the Chiefs take it at 15-2. Of course, the Chiefs take it, but we have the 6th best offense in points per game and the 6th best defense in points per game as well. Stats and awards here. Josh Allen back to his former self, looking great. 10th best offense here, 18th best defenses. Yikes, dang, dude. Our defensive points per game is good, but our defensive yards being 18th in the NFL, not very good. But Josh Allen here, 4,200 yards, almost 4,300 yards, 46 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 113 pass rating. Too many sacks compared to last year. We allowed 27, 10 more than last year. And then rushing-wise, Ray Davis here, 3.9 per carry, 9 touchdowns, 1 fumbles. Mess season, really. Not that crazy. Khalil Shakir, 1,100 yards, 14 touchdowns. Dalton Kincaid, 900 yards, 11 touchdowns. Joshua Palmer, 10 touchdowns, 900 yards. Keon Coleman, 800 yards, 8 touchdowns. Joshua Palmer's outperforming Keon Coleman. Sacks allowed here. Deion Dawkins, you will not get a re-signing. He allows 11. He's the majority of the problem there. And then 7 for Spencer Brown, 6 for Osiris Torrance. Logan Parr allows 6. Dean Carter allows 6 as well in his rookie year. So interior offensive line didn't do the best, but didn't do the worst. But Deion Dawkins will not be getting a re-signing. Terrell Bernard here, 104 tackles for a loss, 12 for Joey Bosa, 10 for Ed Oliver, 8 for Clifton McCray, and 8 for Greg Rousseau. Sacks 17.5 for Greg Rousseau. He's been balling. 11 for Joey Bosa. He's still doing great with us. He's still giving us double-digit sacks every single year. I think he's been doing great throughout this rebuild. Clifton McCray, the second-string defensive tackle, 10.5 sacks, 9 for Ed Oliver, outperforming Ed Oliver, but Ed Oliver had 1 more tackle, 2 more tackles for a loss, so take your pick there on who's better. Christian Benford, 4 interceptions, 2 for Teron Johnson. Deflections here, 10 for Terrell Bernard, 9 for Christian Benford, 6 for Teron Johnson, and for Maxwell Harrison. And then safeties on the team, 1 for Clifton McCray. Defensive tackles, 0. Clifton McCray seems to have outperformed who was the other defensive tackle? Why am I blanking? Ed Oliver. Rushing-wise, just looking at James Cook now, just want to check up on him. He had 9 touchdowns, no fumbles, 4.1 per carry. So he did do better than Ray Davis, but at the same time, you still had to pay him a lot of money. Let me look at his previous year. I'm just interested to see his previous year. Only 3.7 per carry. Glad I didn't give him a contract. Can we beat the 10-7 Houston Texans to go back to the divisional round this year? And the answer is yes. 20-13. Can we beat the 12-5 Indianapolis Colts? We're 5 overalls higher than them. Can we beat them to go back to the conference championship? 4 years in a row, we are here to face our kryptonite, the 15-2 Kansas City Chiefs. We're both a 90 overall team, both with the same offense and defensive overall, but of course, they will get the home field advantage here. Let's see if we can beat the Chiefs to go to 3 Super Bowls in a row. Here we are in Arrowhead Stadium. They're going to start out with 7, and we're going to respond with 7. Good start for both teams here. They're going to make it a 10-7 game. We're going to make it a 14-10 game, getting our first lead of the game here. 14-17 here, 17-17 at half, opening up half with another 3 here. 20-20 game in the fourth quarter. 27-27 for both teams here. 34-27, an absolute shootout here. And for the first time ever in playoff history, AFC Championship history, the Bills are going to beat the Chiefs in the conference championship, and we will be going to 3 Super Bowls in a row. Josh Allen, 300 yards, 96.7 completion percentage is wild. 141 pass rating, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Baller game for Josh Allen. Here we are in the Super Bowl, here to face the 13-4, 90 overall Philadelphia Eagles. We're a 91 overall team now with the morale boost and probably the XP boost at the end of the year. But for the team upgrades, looking into it, Carter comes with star development. That's the only thing I can actually see on the offense. Defensively, anyone for actual upgrades here. Christian Benford goes to superstar development. Joey Bosa still not getting X Factor. Seems wild. He has 3 years in a row with double-digit sacks. I'm not going to force it, but it doesn't seem bad. Baker doesn't get an upgrade, which seems to be expected. He was number 4 on the depth chart. But anyways, 91 overall team. Let's see if we're going to beat the Eagles to get back-to-back Super Bowl wins here in our 3rd Super Bowl in a row in this rebuild. Let's see if we can beat them. Here we are in Miami to face the Eagles. We're going to start out with 3. They started out with nothing there, driving down the field. 10-0 game for the Bills. Nice start for us. 17-7 now, 17-7 at half, opening up half with another 7 on the board, crushing the Eagles. 27-7, 30-7. Just keep pouring it on, smashing the Eagles into the ground. They're trying to make a comeback. Too little, too late. 30-22 as your Buffalo Bills will win back-to-back Super Bowls here, beating the Eagles, of course, in the Super Bowl. And we will continue this run. This is a 4-year rebuild minimum in every one of my rebuilds here. Let's see if we can keep crushing and go to 4 Super Bowls in a row. 135 pass rating, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, almost 300 yards, 78% completion percentage, 61 was his longest pass. Josh Allen is definitely getting the Super Bowl MVP in this one. And Josh Allen does win the Super Bowl MVP. Patrick Mahomes wins the league MVP there. No other awards for the Bills. Back-to-back Super Bowl wins. 1 more year left to go. Let's see if Joey Bosa retires with 2 Super Bowl rings. In the AFC East, Coleman, Shelton here, Ramondre Stevenson, and Tyreek Hill all retire, but no Joey Bosa. He wants to run it back again. And for the re-signings, Dalton Kincaid still doesn't want to be here, even with 2 Super Bowl rings. Still want to give him very player-friendly deal, and he re-signs back with us. Maxwell Harrison going to accept that option. Teron Johnson down to an 80 overall. He doesn't even want to be here. I'm going to let him walk. All these other extras don't want. Deion Dawkins allowed too many sacks, and I can't even afford to pay him if I want him. Tyler Bass, actually, I do want back, even if I have to pay him a little bit extra as a kicker. He wants to play for a new team. How much does it cost to tag a kicker? I mean, we're going to the final season. I don't care if I'm paying $6 million, $6.1 million for him. I don't care if I'm tagging a kicker. We're going into the final season. I want him back on the team. Don't have any money left. I need a left tackle. Let's move into the draft. In the draft, the Denver Broncos with James Cook had the #1 overall pick, so he is in absolute poverty. Could have been winning rings, but his average was too low for me, and I couldn't even afford to keep him anyways. But anyways, I need a left tackle. I'm sure the tackle class is buns for me, just for me in this round. But Peter Saban, second or third rounder. This guy below him looks way better. Stephen Hardison out of Virginia, 6'7", 311, great speed, decent acceleration, elite agility, only decent strength kind of worries me, but he has the skills. He really does have the skills. Let me see if there's a good right tackle that I can move to left tackle here. Eric Chamberlain out of Oregon, 6'5", 305, poor strength, not going to draft him. Let's go with the other guy here. Even though he's projected a second or third rounder, I'm at the late first round, very last pick. Stephen Hardson here. Other than the decent strength, he looks really good. Let's see if he has the skills to back it up. Hopefully hidden development, rank 64, got him at 32. Normal development, of course he does. In round number 2, going to be going after another defensive tackle here. I love my depth at defensive tackle. Deontay Chason here out of Oklahoma, 6'2", 335 here, elite strength. I don't care about anything else. As soon as I see the elite strength, that's all I need to know. Rank 60, got him at 64, hidden development to be expected. 95 strength, A tackling, impact blocking, and play rec. He looks great. And then at the end of the third round, I really don't need anything. Should I just try and pick the best player available that I see down the board? If I see someone with really good attributes, let's see what we have. Anyone down the board that looks absolutely stellar? This guy looks pretty good. A power back, day 3, Junior Montgomery out of Toledo, 6'1", 225, good strength, good jumping, good acceleration, A break tackle, carrying, and trucking. Sure, let's pick up this guy. Why not? Rank 63, got him at 96, hidden development, best player available deal. Didn't really need anyone else, so apart from that, I'm just going to simulate to the end of the draft with my back-to-back Super Bowl winning team. After the draft, Stephen Hardison here, 73 overall, but normal development, 73 for Deontay Chason here, 73 hidden development, and 73 for Junior Montgomery, hidden development, and a corner that's a 72 overall and normal development, still good value in the 4th round there by the AI. And then a receiver who's 70 overall, 5th round pick for the AI, still good value even though it's normal development, good player, nice stuff for the AI. Let's move into the 4th and final year. Now this is the team moving into the 4th and final year, got some depth at running back here, the left tackle position kind of regressed, but I don't know, Deion Dawkins did allow 7 sacks. We're a 90 overall team, defense looks really stellar here, like everything that we got. It's got a lot of depth at the cornerback position as well. So apart from that, guys, 4th and final year, Joey BOSA is still on the team. He's given us double-digit sacks every single year. He's been a huge success for us. So anyways, let's move into the playoffs for the 4th and final season. And we are 10-7 as a 91 overall team. I expected to do better. My defense is 13th in points per game, but my offense is 9th in points per game. 4 seed in the NFL here, top of the division, finishing 10-7, of course. And none of our players finished top 3 in anything. Before the stats and awards, Josh Allen, top 5 QB, 45 passing touchdowns is amazing. 8th best offense, 13th best defense, and then 4,300 yards, 45 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 117 passing. Got sacked 2 times less this season, so I guess a slight improvement there. Ray Davis, 4.2 per carry, 6 touchdowns, 3 fumbles is not acceptable. 3 fumbles to 6 touchdowns, not good. Josh Allen had more rushing touchdowns than him, but at least Ray Davis had a solid average. Dalton Kincaid, 105 receptions, 1,200 yards, 13 touchdowns, easily worth that re-signing. Khalil Shakir, almost 1,000 yards, well, 927 yards, 17 touchdowns though. Joshua Palmer, 900 yards, 9 touchdowns. Keon Coleman, 800 yards, 6 touchdowns. Sacks allowed here, Stephen Hardison, he allows the same amount of sacks as Deion Dawkins, but the difference is I don't have to pay him, so that's fine. Spencer Brown allows 8, Logan Parr allows 7, so not good, and then Dean Carter allows 7. Osiris Torrance has been amazing throughout this entire rebuild. Terrell Bernard, 110 tackles for a loss, 20 for Greg Rousseau, 15 for Clifton McRae, 13 for Joey BOSA, 11 for Ed Oliver, sacks, 13.5 for Greg Rousseau, 10.5 for Joey BOSA. This entire rebuild, he's given me at least double-digit sacks. He's been great for us. 6.5 for Clifton McRae here, and then interceptions, 4 for Christian Benford. He's also been amazing this entire rebuild. 2 for Terrell Bernard and Max Brackens here. Deflections, 9 for Christian Benford, 8 for Max Brackens, 7 for Terrell Bernard. Safeties is 1 for Joey BOSA. Defensive touchdowns is 0. Huge success in this rebuild so far. Just got to say that we've had 3 seasons so far, and then, well, now 4 seasons and 3 Super Bowl appearances, 2 Super Bowl wins. Let's see if we can beat the 11-6 Browns. We're 4 overall is higher than them to move on to the divisional round here, and the answer is yes. Here to face their divisional rival, the 11-6 Pittsburgh Steelers, who are 1 overall higher than them. Can we go to another conference championship here? And the answer is no, 21-17, and that is where the rebuild is going to end. But it definitely was a successful rebuild. Joey Bosa getting 2 Super Bowl rings, 3 Super Bowl appearances. We were in the playoffs all 4 years, of course. Built up a pretty solid team, I would say. The offensive line doesn't look good on paper, but they really were actually pretty solid throughout the entire rebuild. 91 overall team. Greg Rousseau balled out. Joey Bosa honestly did really good. Really maintained his overall despite his age. Went up to 33 years old. Still did really good for his age. Really like that signing in real life. But anyways, guys, apart from that, I thank you guys all for watching. Let me know down in the comments below which team you want me to rebuild next, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.